Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Katrina vanden Heuvel.
I sometimes think my second job, and I love it, is traveling around the country introducing Mayor de Blasio. We've done it in Chicago, we're here in DC. I want to say, I'll never forget standing January 1 this year, City Hall, freezing, as Mayor de Blasio said very clearly, I'm going to take dead aim at the tale of two cities, and I mean it. And this is a mayor who doesn't just walk the walk, though even if he walked the walk, it would be long strides. But he has, in the course of, in politics, 6 months, 8 months, it's a short time. But he has made true on those promises which brought him to office. I want to just, there are many things. Economic fairness, taking on Wall Street in Gotham. But I want to say that the unprecedented expansion of universal pre-K education, I think really, last month, more than 50,000 children headed into universal pre-K, and along with them, the quality of their lives and their families' lives improved. And that is something which is what politics is all about. Now, since he was elected, like any good populist, and sometimes I think, by the way, journalists have on their computer a key that says Warren de Blasio, Warren de Blasio. But since he was elected, he has faced opposition. Gotten blindsided by a passel of folks. You've heard of our state's governor? There are those corporate school reformers, yet the mayor is forcing change. He and the new progressive city council have passed paid sick day legislation. Developers are pressed to build more affordable housing. And as part of a broader strategy to increase wages, Mayor de Blasio recently signed an executive order that will raise the living wage for thousands of New Yorkers. The abuses of stop and frisk have ended, even while the mayor and his team know there is work to be done to rebuild community policing that respects communities of color. Everyone in this room knows governing is hard. Trying to affect change from within is always tough. Yet while the mayor may be unbattled, he is unbowed. He is still. Just spoke to him. I was out of the country. He is fighting hard for something that is key. Democratic control of New York State Senate. It would mean enormous amount for a fairer and stronger city. So let me just close by saying the work the mayor is doing wouldn't have been done if there hadn't been a mandate and mobilization. The work wouldn't have been done without a mayor who has always understood the importance of movements and grassroots organizing. And by taking actions that challenge the orthodoxy in his own party, Mayor de Blasio's leadership is changing the national political landscape, even as it improves the quality of life for New York City's people. These are ragged times of growing inequality, growing cynicism, but it is a true pleasure tonight to celebrate a leader who has shown he's ready for the fights ahead. He's already been fighting them, ready to dismantle the rigged game that passes for our politics, and ready to stand up for what politics is all about in my mind, improving the condition of people's lives. Mayor de Blasio, we're going to watch a video, I believe. Going to give him a good award, and then hear from the mayor.
The people of this city have chosen a progressive path. And tonight we set forth on it, together as one city. My administration has made increasing affordable housing a very high priority. The goal of making New York City a place that people can actually afford, a place that every kind of person can live in. It is essential to the larger notion of creating a more fair and just city. A lot of this housing will be in neighborhoods that have historically been underserved. For that family that finally gets an affordable unit, nothing could be more life-changing. It sets that family on an entirely different course. And every single one of the units we create will have that profound impact on the families of the city.
Our mission is to create a city in which, regardless of zip code, your neighborhood public school is a great option for your child. We started to realize what full-day, high-quality pre-K could mean for the city. We made it the centerpiece of all we've tried to do. You see it, the energy, the focus of these kids, and they're already engaged, and that's what we want for every child. We know this will change the lives of these children. This will change the lives of their families. It's also going to change the whole school system. This is literally winning the day for each child to help us build a school system that can serve all more effectively, to help us build a future for the city, where we're a strong city, a unified city, a city with a workforce ready for the 21st century. It was New Yorkers who challenged the status quo, who blazed a trail of progressive reform and political action, who stood up to say that social and economic justice will start here and will start now. It's that tradition that inspires the work we now begin, a movement that sees the inequality crisis we face today and resolves that it will not define our future.
The Campaign for America's Future is proud to give Mayor de Blasio its Progressive Champion Award.
Thank you so much. I have to say, it is a joy to be here. It's a joy to be here among people who believe in progressive change and know we can achieve it, and been fighting for it year after year. First of all, we are a better people as Americans because of The Nation magazine and because of what Katrina does every day. Let's thank her. Let's thank Sally for stealing all my jokes. And for all she does to speak up for progressives around the country. Thank you, Sally. Let us thank Robert and Roger for the vision that they created and have sustained for year after year after year. And in a moment, you'll get to hear from two people who are being honored because they're proving that organizing people and fighting for the rights of labor is alive and well if you do it the right way. Lee and Saru, congratulations on tonight's honor for you. And thank you to everyone for supporting the Campaign for America's Future. It's an honor for me to receive this, but what's most important is to recognize the classic concept. I'm only here because we built a movement of people. And we put forward a vision of what progressive change looked like, and we asked folks to come along and organize it and build it against the odds, to build it because they believed it was right, because they believed that they could actually take power in their own city by reaching out to their neighbors and their coworkers and spreading a message of what, yes, economic populism looks like in a city and how it can change people's lives for the better. And the fact is, we said from the beginning that we were not going to accept the conventional wisdom. And I think if you think about what this organization is all about and what the debate this year has devolved into, it comes down time and time again to a certain conventional wisdom being put forward. And it's either a question of we're going to accept it or we're going to reject it and build our own sensibility. We said from the beginning, in my campaign, we were not going to do this by the numbers. We were not going to do it in a way that was prescribed, talking about issues in a certain manner that was acceptable and staying within the boundaries set by the conventional discourse. We knew people were hurting. We knew it was a tale of two cities. It wasn't just a convenient phrase. It was the truth on the ground. And people demanded that it be talked about, brought out in the open, and acted on. We focused this entire administration on fighting inequality, in particular income inequality. Because this is the issue of our times, because this is what people are living through, and what they expect from all of us, particularly those of us in government, is a response, a coherent and energetic and vivid response to the times we're living in. When our democracy has functioned best, when our government has been most meaningful, is when it actually responded to people's conditions. So if there's something we're doing that's working, it's that we are first listening to our people and coming up with a program for change and relentlessly implementing it, because we have to respond to people suffering. We have to respond to the challenges people face. And when you do, they can believe in something, they can be part of something, they can be part of a movement that takes us somewhere. So economic populism is alive and well if we're only bold enough to tap into it. I see it all over the country. I see it all over the country. I see mayors in particular all over this country moving on paid sick leave, moving on higher wages and benefits, moving on early child education. You see it all over. It hasn't been described as the movement that it is. And don't expect it to be in the conventional discourse or the conventional media. That's why we have The Nation, ladies and gentlemen, and some other very fine outlets to shed a little more light. But it's happening. It's happening. When I was first elected, I got invited to a meeting at the White House, new mayors, all elected in 2013. A disparate group from all over the country. I expected everyone to have their own pet issue or difference of approach. One by one around the table, everyone talked about income inequality. Everyone talked about how far behind their folks had fallen, how their cities needed a different approach, and they talked about things like paid sick leave. They talked about raising the minimum wage. They talked about living wage standards. They talked about working to organize working people. Something's happening out there. And the fact that it's not on the front pages doesn't mean it's happening any less. It's happening, we can tap into it, and we can build it. And then you will hear the classic doubting Thomas concept that we progressives, when given the chance to govern, can't actually make these things come to life. Well, 50,000 plus kids in full-day pre-K. More than 1 million more New Yorkers now have paid sick leave. We are in the process of creating affordable housing over the next 10 years for 500,000 people in our city. These are things that are happening here and now. So if anyone says progressives can't win, or if anyone says progressives can't govern, I'm going to tell you what you can say to them. I can tell you what you can tell them to do, where you can tell them to go. They should go to New York City and see for themselves that it's happening. So brothers and sisters, it can be done. It can be done. A lot of people in this room have fought a long time. Sometimes it feels like we're pushing uphill, swimming upstream. But we've been right all along. And more people get it. They want us to tap into it. They want us to lead. They want us to build. They want us to remind them it can be done. And they're ready to go along for the ride. So let's make it happen. Thank you.